It's time for the Southern California foreclosure report, and the numbers have changed, and it has us saying WTF. What the foreclosure? What'd you think we meant? We're going to run through the notices of default, notices of trustee sale, and REO property numbers for Southern California. We are going to also put this into perspective when we show you how the last quarter's numbers compare to quarters in the previous years. And if you stick around to the end, we're going to show you how long the average foreclosure is taking across the nation. Hey there, Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates. We've been helping buyers and sellers make the best data-driven decisions in this crazy market. And we do these updates once a month so you know whether it's a foreclosure wave or a foreclosure dribble. So if you're ready to dive into the notices of default, notices of trustee sale, and REOs for Southern California, hit that like button and let's get started. Diving into the data for the 6 Southern California counties, you see for notices of default in the month-over-month data. We're going all the way back to September of 2021. You can see that things were increasing, and then we had a big jump in Los Angeles in the notices of default, and it has since dropped. And while we're seeing the foreclosure starts go up, the first step in the process, the notice of default, those were going up. Every county except for one, except for San Bernardino, we see a drop. So our newsletter subscribers, they get these charts, they can play with these, and they can see San Bernardino is the only one that's gone up, and that's not even at a record. It was higher in March of 2022. So this is fascinating to see, and quite frankly, I was surprised. I thought we would see more foreclosure starts occurring. We're getting into a time of year where banks will actually stop the foreclosure process. As we get into the holidays, November, December, we will see the notices of default slow down. Let's look at the next stage, the notice of trustee sale. And you can see that those also, they had ticked up from, in many cases, in August. We're looking at the data from going all the way back to September 2021. And you can see in September 2021, there were, in most of the counties, there were more notices of trustee sale back then. But we see that drop. So we are seeing the numbers go down. Again, San Bernardino is the one outlier where we do see an increase, but still not crazy record numbers, especially when we put it in perspective later on. So let us know in the comments below, why do you think the foreclosure numbers are dropping? We'd love to hear what you have to say. And that's why we started out the video saying what WTF, what the foreclosures, because what is going on? We're actually not seeing an increase, not seeing a wave in the month-over-month data, but let's put it into perspective. And here we go, time for perspective, looking at year-over-year numbers. We got September's going all the way back to 2015, and when you look at the number of notices of default, you can see that we're up, particularly in Los Angeles. We're up, and it is higher than any point in time since 2015. Now, if you were to do the math and you were to average together 2020, 2021, and 2022, it would be pretty level. It would be close to that line. We are catching up, and it does look like we're exceeding, but let's put this into perspective. Now in 2011, which is where the data sunsets from Black Knight, we can see that notices of default were higher back then. They, in 2011, were already dropping. You've heard me say this in other videos. It's notices of trustee sale that are crazy, crazy numbers, and that is because the wave had moved through. So they had moved through the notices of default into the notice of trustee sale. Here, it was already fading in the global financial crisis for the notices of default. Essentially, lenders were catching up. We aren't at those levels. And again, I'm going to give you even more perspective in this video when we look at quarterly numbers to see exactly how things shake out for foreclosure starts. And again, offering perspective. So here we are looking at notices of trustee sale, the next phase in the foreclosure process. So 120 days has gone by at least, and that is when the notice of default was filed. Now we're 90 days later and the notice of trustee sale is filed, and there's 21 days before the trustee sale can take place. That is the fastest process. Stick around to the end. We're going to tell you how long it's taking on average now across the country. But you can see in the numbers here, while the numbers have gone up for the notices of trustee sale, they're not at record levels, and there was actually far more in 2015, a normal market. And let's give it some perspective when we compare it to the 2011 and just tiny numbers. You can see about 300 in Los Angeles versus 1,400 in Los Angeles in the month of September in 2011. And bank owned, looking at properties that made it through the foreclosure process and have ended up going back to the lender, called real estate owned. These numbers also for 2022 are a record low. They may start to tick up. We may start to see more properties actually go back to the lender. A lot of these properties, before they made it all the way through the process, were selling on the open market because the owners have equity. And the other side of that coin is that investors were buying them up so they could flip them. So we will start to see an increase. But with these numbers where they are, these are crazy low numbers. You compare 2015 and San Bernardino, there were 16 that went back to the bank. That 45 in 2021, I double checked that. That's a strange anomaly in September of last year. But you go back to 2015, normal market, and there were 96 in San Bernardino that went back. LA at 116. Big numbers. These would actually help some of the inventory shortages we are still seeing. Yes, I know demand is down. We cover that in our market update videos, but inventory is down as well. Let's compare this to 2012, which is how far we can go back. And it's crazy. So you can see in San Bernardino, for example, that there were 826 properties that went back to the bank in 2012 in 1 month. When you have this level, I mean, the lowest one here is Riverside at that point in time, 190. These numbers are just so much higher than we have right now. And you could see when you have that level of inventory hitting the open market, plus there were short sales. So these were properties that were about to go into foreclosure and pre-foreclosure. Those were on the market back then. And you had the properties that were standard sales. And the only saving grace is by this time in 2012, the market had turned and we were starting to go in a positive direction for the number of sales and values. The median home price actually hit a low for most of the Southern California counties in 2012 and hasn't been anywhere near there since. So 2012 was an inflection point in the market, but this really puts it in perspective when we talk about a foreclosure wave. We don't even have a foreclosure trickle right now. Crazy low numbers. As we've talked about before, we have a few different ways to track foreclosures. You can sign up for foreclosure.com. We have a link below so you can get a free trial and enjoy that. If you're not ready to sign up for a free trial and you want to get a taste of what's coming in your area, I recommend that you subscribe to the email alerts. So click the link below to go to foreclosure.com and then sign up here for free email alerts. You pick the zip code that you want and they will send them to you. So you can even see if it's even worth subscribing. And we're going to do more content on this. They actually cover way more. They cover bankruptcies, a whole bunch of other data ends up here in foreclosure.com. And while you'll be getting the inside scoop on properties before they hit the market, if you want to know when any foreclosure properties hit the market, make sure you sign up at our other link below and you'll be emailed any of the land, multifamily and single family properties that hit the market, whether they're already foreclosed on or they're short sales. Click that link below to be notified on those properties as well. That way you get a whole picture of the market. Thanks for sticking around to the end. We promise to help put this into perspective, and we're using Attom Data updates. They are one of the premier sources to get this information. They have been tracking the foreclosure starts. This chart, we have a link below so you can go visit this. Go over to the right side of it and you can see how low things got on foreclosure starts. So this is the first phase of the foreclosure process. You can see that numbers were crazy low because of COVID. We are now just getting back to essentially a normal market for foreclosures. This is also important. These are quarterly numbers. I want you to put it in perspective. When you see the number of foreclosures that we're getting to, that are starting, compare it to the global financial crisis. Look at those massive numbers. So this is important, more perspective to see where we are. And those homes that make it all the way through the process and end up going back to the bank, again, compare to where we've been in normal years, where things were during COVID and where we are now. This number will increase as fewer properties are purchased by investors for flipping, but it may not increase dramatically because the majority of these people do have equity and don't have to be foreclosed on. They can sell and still walk away with money. The sellers during the global financial crisis did not have that advantage. They were underwater. They were upside down in the majority of cases. And how long does it take? The average foreclosure in the United States, that's 885 days. It is a little bit quicker than it was in previous quarters, but this is well over 2 years. And this is not due to COVID. You can see you go all the way back to 2016, and the process has been taking around 800 days. So that helps put it into perspective. It is taking over 2 years to foreclose. So if there's going to be any sort of wave of foreclosure, it's still not here yet. And we want to hear from you in the comments below what you're seeing out there. Are you seeing more foreclosures? Do you think a wave, it's on its way? You are not going to want to miss this next video where we cover more on the Southern California housing market update. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates, and we want to hear from you.